The book we are going to be reading today is If You Give a Cat a Cupcake. And it was written by Laura Numeroff. And it was illustrated by Felicia Bond. One day there was a girl in a house carrying a pan of cupcakes. And as she carried a pan, there was a cat swishing its tail with its ears perked, and it was excited and ran over to the girl and continued to swish its tail. And the girl saw the cat and said, why not? I'll give it a cupcake. But if you give a cat a cupcake, what'll happen? And the girl hands a cupcake to the cat. And the cat takes it with his paws, and he was so excited and said, "Hey, I want some sprinkles on my cupcake." The girl said, "Okay, sure," and opens the cabinet and finds some sprinkles and hands it back to the cat. And then the cat pours the sprinkles over everywhere and makes a mess all over the floor. The girl said, "No, no!" And they cleaned the floor until it was spotless. And they cleaned so much that it made them hot. And the cat said, "I want to go swimming." And the girl said, "Okay," and got him a pair of swim trunks and pulled it up to the cat's chest. And the cat was excited and said, "Perfect!" The cat called the girl over and said, "Take me to the beach." And so she carried him while he had a refreshing beverage, and she took him to the beach. And the cat and the girl arrived at the beach, and they saw the waves hitting the shore, and the cat was so excited and jumped right in the water and began to play, splashing and blowing water out of its mouth. And then the cat wanted to make a sand castle, so he gathered his sand and shaped it in the form of a castle. And then he wanted to put some shells on the castle to decorate it. So the cat wanted to go gather some shells, and the girl watched him, and then he brought back not only shells, but random things. The cat struggled to bring his items back because it was just so heavy. Then a thought came to mind, and he decided to go to the gym to go work out. And the cat and the girl went to the gym, and when they had arrived, the cat first said, "Hey, I need to do a warm-up." So he started to run on a treadmill to warm himself up. So the cat decided to lift some weights, including barbells and dumbbells, and even he decided to take a karate class, did some chops and kicks. When all was said and done, they decided to go back to the beach. The girl and the cat walked side by side. Just before they arrived, they saw a park with a large stack of rocks that was very high. And the cat said, "Oh, I want to climb it." And so he climbed all the way to the top of the pile of rocks and saw a beautiful view. And then he saw a lake. And in the lake was a rowboat. And he said, "Hey, I want to go rowing with the girl." The girl said the cat, "Sure," and picked him off of the pile of rocks. And they got into the rowboat, and the girl started rowing and rowing. And the cat behaved as if he was the captain and said, "Go in this direction." And he started pointing in various directions. The girl rolled her eyes and shook her head. And then the cat saw a very cool merry-go-round with a horse that you could ride on inside the merry-go-round. And so the cat said, "Oh my gosh, I have to ride on this. Come on, let's go. You have to ride with me," he said to the girl. The girl said, "Okay, fine." And they arrived to the merry-go-round. But the girl had to ride on the purple horse, and the cat rode on the whale. And so he rode on the whale in the merry-go-round, and they had so much enjoyment. But when he rode on the whale, he started to think about a science museum that he had visited. And he said to the girl, "Hey, take me to the science museum." But first, can you guess what they found? And what did the cat find? Dinosaurs! All over the museum. They were fake dinosaurs. And they had bird dinosaurs and dinosaurs with scales on their backs. And they looked and they enjoyed it so much. And then they visited the Hall of Apes, and the monkeys were swinging on the trees. And the cat enjoyed himself thoroughly at all the sights that he saw. But the museum closed, and they were the last people to leave. And so the cat and the girl left the museum. And on the way home, the cat and the girl passed by the beach. And the cat said, "Oh yes, I still have a pail full of various things such as shells and other junk." And so he started handing those things to the girl, and they piled up. And the cat said, "Come on, let's race back home." And the cat took off running, and the girl struggled while she was carrying all the cat's things. Then they arrived home, and she was so tired and out of breath. And the cat took off his shoes and dumped sand from the shoes, and it spilled everywhere onto the floor. And he said, "There's sand on the floor everywhere." Then a thought came to the cat's mind, and he remembered when he had sprinkles on a cupcake. And then the cat said to the girl, "Hey, I want some sprinkles." And the girl said, "Okay." But wait a second. If you give a cat some sprinkles, what will happen? He'll want a cupcake to go with it.